this summer, a shadowy silhouette in the darkness.
Hey guys, Brian and I are at Samsung. This is the new Micro RGB by Samsung, and today we're going to go over some of the exciting things that make it uniquely awesome for only $29,999. Let's get into it.
In the beginning. Put the price in the beginning. Call us again. What's up, everybody?
We're get that on the road. We're so excited.
What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us. We are here at Samsung headquarters. Stop the FOMO, Brian's Tech Therapy. Very excited to be able to see the Samsung Micro RGB at 115 inches. Last time we saw this was at CES and stole the show, FOMO.
And speaking of CES, so the reason why I mentioned the prices is actually at a discount. Because the one that we saw at the show had that amazing all metal, all aluminum,
James Bond
titanium rear. And in order to save you guys some money, they took that and gave it the plastic, durable plastic backing. But because of that, it's under $50,000. Now,
absolutely.
Your thoughts, Brian, on how awesome this TV is. Okay, so first of all, my video does not do this TV any justice.
Actually,
I'm trying to adjust it.
Well, actually, what we've seen with all of our cameras, and Samsung had told us that even a lot of the other creators.
Wait, is my mic off?
I don't know.
It says mic is off.
Your mic is off.
What, is my mic off? Is your mic off?
Is my mic off?
Why is the mic off?
Audio, Mr. Gems. What's up, Mr. Gems?
Wait.
Your mic's off. Phone was off.
Okay.
Audio sucks. It's so pleasant with your delivery.
Wait. Why is the mic off? It was working earlier.
Live without a net.
Oh. So now we have to put audio through the MacBook. Okay.
Well, wait.
Is that much better?
Can we sync it?
No, we're just going through the audio on the MacBook.
Well, mine's
Pro
going.
now. Well, yeah. Unfortunately. So we have to start this again.
Mic is back on. That's my mic. Well, let's connect. Let's try connecting it.
No, it's fine. We're on the MacBook.
Can we take
Pro.
this one off then?
No, you can leave it on.
All right.
Okay.
What's up, B?
So here we are at. We have to do this intro again. we are at Samsung Micro RGB TV, and unfortunately, my camera cannot capture the awesomeness that is this TV. It's 115 inches, Samsung Micro RGB. Apparently, its Micro RGB is uniquely micro, using RGB LEDs instead of the backlight and with no color filter. It is smaller than competing technologies, and more importantly, at BT 2020 100%, this TV is now setting a new standard. Now, why are we watching this content? So this is why I asked Samsung, do you have any content that's 100% BT 2020? And they said yes. That's why we're going to show you this content. So if I brought in Jennifer Gala, we have to ask her, can you make 100% BT 2020, Jennifer? But this one is, and so that's why they wanted to kind of show it off. Now, obviously, my camera cannot capture 100% BT 2020, nor can any of your TVs short of a Micro RGB TV. So this is kind of a cool TV in the sense that, like you talked about, it's Trickle-Down in other videos is.
Yeah.
If you look at how much this TV costs, right, it's like $30,000 plus or minus $1. And then they have a 115-inch version of this TV that is QN90F without the Micro RGB.
Yeah, Neo QLED and then the LED. Yeah.
Neo QLED, it's only a $3,000 difference.
Yeah, which is fascinating, actually.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible because that tells me that the future is Micro RGB. If the price difference is only $3,000, 10 to 15% difference, then in the near future, Micro RGB will trickle down as the flagship LCD TV, I'd say in the next 2 years.
Yeah, and we had asked that the version at CES was smaller. So set that question up. It's just a prototype, but in my opinion, we always talk about 3-4 years. This will be what you're buying at a more affordable price. It's the best part about seeing cutting edge technologies. Yeah, the price always scares you, but it's all about really looking at it and saying, okay, you know what, in 2 to 3 years, you'll be getting an 85-inch version of this. They've not said that, but it's the way things go. And I know we're talking about this next week in our OLED is dead video, but the fact is, if you see the way Samsung has pivoted, they're putting this out, they're showing it, everything is just getting bigger, brighter, and more beautiful. Someplace OLED really can never go. And
let me stop you at brighter. I think we've reached the limits of brightness in terms of what do consumers really need?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it that even a lot of the times for us to capture these TVs, the exposure has to be so low. We're getting to that point now where, I mean, we have them in filmmaker mode half the time just to make them look decent on camera. I think the brightness war should be over, but with the RGB, it's really about color now. And having 100% BT 2020, that's what we've all asked for and wanted, and here it is. I mean,
Now,
not saying OLED is dead, I'm saying that in the future.
now Lisa's asking,
What's up,
is this a
Lisa.
live stream or is this a premiere? It's
We're
a live
actually
stream.
AI. I'm actually home in my pajamas. FOMO's in California, but yeah, it's a live stream.
We're here, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. How are you, love?
And say hello to everyone, right? And no, the crazy
What's up,
thing
guys?
is, I was testing audio while you were in makeup, and
Just getting my hair blown out. So.
right, getting my tan in, and it worked. And okay, we're good to go. And I come on, audio, can't hear a thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
see,
thank you.
Even monitoring the audio, something's gonna go wrong. But thank you very much for letting us know. So I want to go to kind of our first impressions of this TV. We've seen similar technologies before. Hisense has the RGB Mini LED, and now Samsung has micro RGB. And what I think is interesting is that in the Hisense demo, the focus is on brightness, 8,000 nits, right?
Yeah.
The lack of blooming. And so their angle is the sheer performance that we always talk about, but I rarely talk about BT 2020, like, because I can't find content other than Lego, Batman, the movie.
Yeah.
And then even then, you have to look for certain things. But here, Samsung's like, no, let us show you BT 2020 with content that we've produced that is mostly BT 2020, where we can put it in every scene. It looks amazing.
Well, we were talking about going from one room to the next. In the previous room, we have the 115-inch QN90F, actually gorgeous TV, beautiful. But in the short, 20, 30 feet walk over, it's not just the content, the demo material, it's obvious to the eye that you're like, wow, that's a lot of color. And that's pretty amazing. And for the local dimming, though this is all colorful content FOMO, the Samsung logo is always the telltale sign of local dimming. And if this is on, say, a vivid preset or a dynamic preset, the local dimming is on point because that Samsung logo has no blooming on it at all.
Every single time.
Which is ridiculous because normally even on the other RGB Mini LEDs we've seen, there is blooming on the logo and nothing here. So that's pretty impressive considering this is definitely on dynamic of some kind, or standard at least.
Now, to Just Fraser's point, his comment is very important. It needs to be reiterated. This is still an LCD-based technology, not true emissive micro LED. And that is correct. Samsung has micro LED TVs, significantly more expensive. What is
they're only
micro?
what, 600,000?
Depending how big you want to go.
You got one of those, right?
But I think for 110,000, you can get like maybe a 98-inch now.
I think it's
maybe,
I think it's
right?
100 inches, but yeah.
But what's the difference? So micro LED, true self-emissive, that means there is no backlight, right? Each pixel lights up 3,000 nits. Now, micro RGB, the micro LED is in the backlight. So you have individual RGB LEDs, not as small as a dedicated micro LED self-emissive, but it is definitely a transition technology that bridges the gap. And it all comes down to image quality. So let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
How close are we getting to micro LED or OLED self-emissive with micro RGB? And to me, the big jump is, in addition to improved image quality, you're getting size. And I can't emphasize enough that with size, performance actually is more difficult for LCD TVs. You have a few things working against you. You have glare because it's a larger room, and then off angle. Everyone's off angle. Because when it's that big, when you're sitting at, even if you're centered on the TV at 115 inches or larger, the far edge of the TV, you're kind of off angle now. At 65 inch, you're in front of the entire TV from 7 feet away, right? But 115 inch, even from 9 feet away or closer, like I love sitting, by the way, 9 feet in front of the 115 inch, you're really off angle on the far edges. So you need micro RGB to help with the color saturation at those angles and control blooming. And so it gets you closer to OLED, but not quite OLED. And I know you're complaining about the price. This is first adopter technology this year. At CES, I guarantee you, we're going to see 85 inches. And I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, what about Sony? What will they do with an RGB LED?
Well, and that's the answer, honestly, is to go from what we thought was a prototype at CES to some whispers that we may see it, to seeing it, That's pretty rapid for a prototype. Typically, we'll see something at CES and then it won't see it for a while. I will say in comparison to typical micro LED, if I put the same demo material that was on the micro LEDs at CES on a QN90, it would not look like a micro LED. This does look like the other micro LEDs. So when we saw it at CES, that's why a lot of us thought, what, is this really a micro LED? Because it does have that same look. If I put this on a QN90F, it wouldn't look that way. And that's really indicative of the color, which is all that matters versus what technology it is.
And to Classy's point, is exactly right. Higher color gamut coverage doesn't mean brighter colors. It just means you're getting more color. Brightness is brightness, right? That's a separate measure. Most wide color gamut in real content is actually darker colors, but color that goes beyond P3 is very rare. And this is why we have this content, because...
But it's almost like the same thing with the HDR, and we all thought the HDR was going to be brighter, and in effect, most of the time it was darker.
Right? Because you have to have dark scenes to kind of bring
delineation
out
between
the highlights.
But look at that, I mean, that there is no blooming on the logo that you're seeing on camera now. That's not just the exposure. It's actually pretty close to what we're seeing in person.
And so, first of all, it has to follow content.
Of course.
First and foremost. And if there is no BT 2020 content, it's kind of like if there's no 8K content. I think this is more of less about Samsung trying to hit 100%. It just happens to be, oh, you know, we use this technology. It happens to have higher color gamut.
Yeah.
I think what's more important is the stuff that you do see. Better blooming control, better contrast, and HDR is preserved, right?
Yeah, and that's what's obvious, is that the blooming control is obvious, the color in this content is obvious, the brightness, well, the brightness and the blooming control, local dimming is very important, and we have it here. But I just think the excitement of a prototype to something that's being sold, that is only great news for what we're gonna see 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, where, I mean, if you think about, again, prototypes take 2-3 years to come out. We've been waiting for micro LED for years, but I'm just excited the fact that it's here now, and it's not like, hey, we'll see this next. No, that you can buy it.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty incredible. And also, you know, not to gloss over, the Q190F in the other room is beautiful at 115 inches, and though we have other TVs that are 115 inches, their AI processing and all their different lifestyle things that we don't pay a lot of attention to, it is really quality of life features that the other companies don't have.
Well, let's go to Garrett's comment. This TV is awesome, but not worth $30,000. That's ridiculous.
I mean, Garrett.
You
look,
know, first of all, wait, why don't you go back to your 77-inch story?
So I have this conversation all the time. If I was doing a video on Bugattis, no one's talking about the price. So we're looking at it as a Bugatti of TVs. Now, I'm not saying, we're at Samsung looking at the highest end TV that they currently have probably in this building. I know you guys want it for $1,200. It's just not the way it is.
Not yet. Not yet.
But I'm just saying that for those of you that have been in home theater for many years, it wasn't long ago that a 77-inch LG C7 was 15 grand. 77. Those TVs are now like, what do you got, $2,000 at Costco for an S90D from last year. So yes, it's expensive. This is the cutting edge, what, again, very wealthy will enjoy.
Well, just think 8 years ago, right? 2025, in 2017, 8 years ago, the LG G5 or its equivalent, they had a 77-inch OLED. How much was that?
The C7 was 15 grand at 77 inches. The C8 was $12,000.
And at that time, I would, like 15 grand, is it worth it?
The Samsung KS9800, which I had, was $12,000. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is that comparable speakers and receivers, all that stuff is still super expensive. TV margins are so unbelievably slim that we've unfortunately expected these TVs to be so cheap.
Right.
We didn't drive and fly all the way over here to show you a $2,000 TV. We're here to show you cutting edge technology.
Well, I wanted to see for myself what all the noise is about, right? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when Samsung releases something this expensive, like, okay, because let's say they release a washer that's $10,000. Like, what is this thing doing, right?
You get more views on that, actually.
Right? You know, the arm comes out, picks up the clothes, puts it in the, and then takes it and puts it in the dryer. I want to see that. No one's going to buy it, but I guarantee you, when the robot, whatever robot comes out, the house-made robot from the Jetson, Jetson's gonna be like what, $99,000?
Yeah,
well, who's going to buy that? But guess what? In 15 years, that robot's probably going to be $5,000.
Well, and everything will be faster. I mean, if you look at how expensive the QN90A at 98 inches was, and you look at the competitors. What's great too is the prices. Who sets the price really does drive down the competitors. So they're all in this battle. So when you see like the TCLs and the Hisenses go high, the first thing you guys say is no way. I'm not buying that TCL. It allows Samsung to go high, and they all have to battle. We all do win in that regard, but you can't expect this to be, like there's no links in the description to buy this tomorrow.
Well, I mean, it's available on Best Buy right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The big screen store. Here's a guy that has experience selling big TVs. He would know. The first 85.
Oh, I gotta go visit that store.
The first 85-inch 4K they released back in 2013 was $40,000.
Who made that? That wasn't Samsung. Was that Samsung?
RCA.
230.
Zenith.
Sanyo.
Hey, big screen. Let us know what was the brand.
I gotta check out your store.
Yeah, Fairfax, Virginia.
Wow,
right?
very cool.
Now I've learned about the DMV. Is that anywhere near the DMV?
Well, I know the first couple 4K TVs were absurd expensive. They were 75 inches, 65.
And let's address Othman's comment. 30,000, and besides next to a Bravia 9, it will look identical.
They don't. No,
So wait,
no. I gotta stop.
Isn't the Bravia? Isn't Sony coming out with its own?
They are, but I mean, I think.
Let's talk about
so
that. So
we've said this before, with like the Shootout, everything's calibrated to look the same, and yes, depending on the content. Yeah, that's insane to say. I mean, you're looking at the Bravia 9 is not in the same universe as what this is, nor should it be.
And Bravia 9 will be second class to the Bravia 11.
I mean,
RGB
so I understand what you're saying, but it's like if you have that enthusiast eye that picks up on the details. We walked in this room, we're like, damn.
Yeah,
and that's even in comparison to another 115, which is also damn. So
the Q90F that just released.
Yeah, so I mean, like my wife might say what you're saying, Othman, that, oh yeah, these all look the same. But I mean, for you to say that, really, bro? All right.
Well, but let's talk about the Sony.
I'm aggressive today. Let's do it.
No, but
I
let's
need
talk
water.
about the Sony, though. The Sony is going to release its RGB LED, and I suspect you guys will be wondering, wait a minute, I thought Samsung was expensive at 30 grand. What is your prediction for the 115-inch Sony RGB LED?
So, I mean, that's interesting. This is by Samsung stating the price. That's going to have to force Sony to make a decision against.
To beat it.
So again, Sony having us, what Sony, the challenge for them is going to be, they're going to be last, other than TCL, which I'm sure already has one out, already has one made.
Well, I suspect this is using TCL's technology. Samsung won't say it.
It would be Hisense's maybe.
Hisense is 116.
That's right, it is 116.
TCL showed a sample that they had in the back burner. And what did Hisense say? We were sneaking into TCL's factory and saw they had a 115. We had to produce 116. Yeah. So this leads me to believe that this is TCL's 115 technology. And so we will see what Sony uses. If Sony is at 116, it's using Hisense. If Sony is at 115, it's using TCL. But the question Matt and Bev has, will Sony be better than this one? So let's redefine the word better. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, one, will Sony even come to market? Because remember, the Hisense is available to buy. They already released their 100-inch. Samsung's is available to buy. When I saw the Sony in Japan, it was like 5 inches thick, and there was 5,000 cables sticking out of the back of it. So it was a Frankenstein's monster. Mm-hmm. They better bring it out. It better be at CES ready to buy, or they're already far behind. Mm-hmm. Because by the time they release, Hisense's price will be cut in half, and Samsung's price will actually drop too if they feel the need to. So they're already at a disadvantage. As far as the technology, Sony's saying it's homegrown.
That's right. Sony is homegrown. There's no TCL involved.
We will
we study its technology in the back?
That's what they said. I mean,
we saw little wires sticking out,
into
plugging LEDs.
They
were like hand programmed.
I mean, it'll come into processing, but this is the new. They have a brand new processor for this. This is the RGB AI Gen. He's gonna give me the real name. Shout out to
RGB.
Shout out to Nick off camera. Got great curls.
Algorithm processor. No, we have a live studio audience here.
Yeah,
we told them not to laugh.
There's 100 people in here, right? Where's my laugh track, Nick? Nice. As far as it's going to come back down to processing, but seeing that Samsung has a separate processor, that means Sony's going to have a separate processor as well. And Samsung's processor for the 8K is separate. So I imagine it's going to be about upscaling, and they said controlling the RGB, they need a separate processor.
So if Samsung's at 30, I'm thinking Sony's going to be at 35. If it's a 115-inch size, if it's a 100-inch size, maybe 25 or 20. That's my guess for Sony, but we'll see. Now, congratulations.
Micro RGB AI engine. Pro? 2? Extreme? Nah.
Extreme.
The marketing team's like, all right, I got to change
Boy,
it.
look, here's another first. So the big screen store confirmed Samsung UN859S9 was the first 85-inch 4K TV
I like that, dude.
at only $30,000.
Big screen store, how long have you been in business?
Love it.
Because we definitely want to draw.
Look, already, it looks a bit oversaturated. See, that's BT 2020 through my camera on YouTube on your TV, my friend. That's why it looks oversaturated. But yeah, no, and this is why we're watching this content. I asked Samsung, hey, can I show my content, whatever? And they're like, what's the point of showing Colombo on a BT 2020 when we have BT 2020 content?
Yeah.
Now, you can't see it, obviously, but we can, and I'm really enjoying the extra grades of blue that I don't normally see.
Yeah,
It feels
I mean,
like
the color is amazing.
maybe I'm missing something, but then again, honestly, it's not about the BT 2020. It really is about taking your flagship TV to the next level in 3 years, because this is really not for all of us, right? Brian, myself, it's about saying, look, we're gonna sell this now, but give us 3 years. This will trickle down to 85 inches, 75, 65, because unlike micro LED TVs,
With the pitch, there's no way to do it.
you will never get micro LED
No.
down to 65. It's
And
just way too small.
which is funny is the first CS I was at with you, we saw those 55-inch micro LEDs. I'm like, oh my God. And then when I talked to the engineers, they're like, look, those things are, it's going to be hard to get, the pixel pitch is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Or it'd be like 720p. So the fact that we have, 4K, what surprises me is that we have 4K at these sizes. 29 years.
And now he
nice,
says when he says
DMV.
DMV. We learned
That's
about
the
the
Maryland.
DMV. Is it DC, Maryland, Virginia?
Nice.
We learned
Awesome.
about that during the live stream.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to take a road trip. Let me come down. I'd love to shoot a video in your store.
Yeah.
We'll promote you. That'd be great.
Now,
Congratulations. That's a beautiful thing to have that kind of business.
I
this day and
think
age.
the questions that you guys all should have is, when will the last brand come up with some variation of micro RGB, whether they call it RGB Mini LED or RGB LED or something else completely? It's the same theme. They have replaced the all-white backlight pixels or backlight LEDs with RGB LEDs, slightly more expensive, and they want to introduce that at a super large size, give it that flagship. But honestly, this is kind of like giving you a preview of what you can see at CES. We're going to see a whole lot of these at CES at smaller sizes, and I guarantee you there's going to be some TVs under 10,000. I'm hoping Sansui comes to the table with that, or maybe the Walmart Visual Special.
Well, I mean, I would tell you that the slim design of this is very impressive, considering that the 115 that we saw a couple of years ago was, very thick and heavy. But, it might not be as sleek as the James Bond version that we saw at CES, but it's close. I mean, that wasn't practical anyway. I mean, that one didn't even have HDMI inputs in the back. But it is very beautiful. It doesn't have the same bezel-less design of, say, the QN990, but it's also 115 inches. I'm not sure that's actually feasible.
Yeah. And
what's up, Nickel? How are you? Love from India. Hope these land on shelves in a couple of years.
that-
It will.
that-
They're available.
This is something
Brandon?
that I want to address as well. We need to see this TV play some demos that test uniformity. Vincent exposed Hisense's version of this tech when he did his video, and it's not worth the purchase. And so, Brandon, let's talk about any kind of first adoption. Never worth it. Even the LG G5, you saw the issues, right? There are teething issues. We're all thinking the G6 will be slightly better. When the G3 came out with MLA, banding issues. So at the end of the day, being a first adopter, it's not about whether it's worth it. It's never worth it.
Well, and Brandon, to be honest, we've all seen the 116 UX in person, and I did shoot real content on it, and I did watch movies on it. I didn't see did you see crazy screen uniformity problems?
Well, I didn't put out those kind of demos.
I mean, I didn't run
right?
like charts on it or anything.
Well,
but-
because it's like you have so much time to do a Q&A or whatever.
Oh, you were live.
I was live.
Yeah,
so
I had 2 hours with it, so I filmed gaming on it. I would never walk away thinking that you can't buy it because of screen uniformity. Now, Vincent's model may have had that, but again, it's like I saw the TV. I didn't see it with footage. I brought my own content, and the screen uniformity, and I don't see screen uniformity problems here either. Because
But
you gotta
then
remember,
again-
even with this footage, we're walking back and forth, guys. You still can't hide it. It still would show up in this footage.
But at the end of the day, when you have, okay, so first of all, the uniformity issue is a problem among all LCD TVs.
And OLEDs aren't immune
And
to
some
it either.
OLEDs, right? But at the end of the day, I think the purpose of these things is to let you know this is an unavoidable path. Micro RGB / RGB Mini LED, it's coming. It's not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, it's the next evolution of LCD TVs, backlight, right?
I mean, FOMO, we did an mini LED was dead 2.5 years ago.
I
Video,
did until they came
and-
out with 100 inches.
Well, once QD OLED dropped, Samsung dropped it. We were like, oh my God, this is the future. But the reality is, I mean, the fact that this is out, it shows you that, and that's why we're saying OLED's really got nowhere to go because they're going to be limited by cost and size. What's the 97-inch G series is 30 grand, 25,000,
Which
25,000
one?
for the G5
G5
at 97 inches, like 25 grand.
is 25,000.
And I'll tell you that,
MSRP.
so they have a Samsung QN80F in the other room that we saw during our workshop, which is 100 inches. I'll tell you, that TV looks like it's 85 inches compared to the 115. So we're already at where 100 inches is now going to be the entry point. If you have a 98-inch TV right now, you're too small.
Right.
It's too small. So forget about 83 and forget about, I mean, everyone's jumping to these big sizes and there's nowhere, I mean, it's incredible.
Well, speaking of big sizes, so I'm a big fan of the 115-inch, the 100-inch. I was testing the different seating distances, and now they have it set up ideally, quote unquote, at 11 feet from a 115. And I was telling the Samsung team, you guys are a bit far. I'd like to see
You can do
this.
6 feet, baby. Easy.
At 9 feet, I still had good peripheral
Yeah.
margins on the side. I'm thinking, you know, this is still smaller than IMAX, but it's definitely acceptable at 9 to 10 feet from 115. So it really depends on your viewing preferences, but the immersion is what I love about the future. Now, speaking of 115, 8K.
So yeah, so you know,
Okay, we get that a lot.
yeah,
Now,
so
let me
yeah.
say my first, because I think you have
I
opinions.
asked this question a
Yeah.
few minutes ago. Go ahead.
Personally, I don't think it's not only that it's not necessary, I think it introduces more issues than it solves. Because what it's supposed to solve is, well, the pixels are soft, this and that. And I'm not going to argue with that because, you know, depending how far you sit, it might be soft to you. However, when you have 8K density, you're introducing, just to get the same brightness as a 4K, you
so much more
nearly have to
energy.
double the energy.
Yep.
And then that introduces blooming issues, that introduces
The
heat.
Z9K is like that. Yep.
It's like all for a little extra resolution, and I'm going to argue that it's not worth the price. And then the
Yeah.
price goes up significantly just to get 8K. And I know it's upscaling, so now you're upscaling to 8K. So you're introducing software artifacts. Is the processor fast enough to get it upscaled quickly?
Which is why they have a separate processor.
You can't really
for it.
gain
Yeah.
on it now because now you need to have the refresh rate catch up to the 8K, which is more expensive. I really don't think it's necessary. Now,
So
you've
I
been
have,
talking to the 8K
so I have the QN990F at home, and just like the last few years of Samsung's 8K TVs, you stop buying them because they were 8K. You're buying them because they have the best processor and the best features. So, and Samsung has positioned that to be like, hey, look, it just happens to be 8K. So I think we were led to believe when 8K first arrived, well before the TVs were more than 85 inches, that we needed 8K.
Right.
Now we've proven with all the manufacturers that 4K is plenty, unless your face is up against the screen. So I think we've seen that change over the years. The perception of we need 8K because of the size is done. I will tell you that 1080p over a certain size is unwatchable as far as gaming.
Oh, yeah.
So, but for gaming and movies, 4K is enough, and we've seen that with these large TVs. And Samsung was really one of the first to have, like the QN90A was one of the first big TVs. We questioned why it was 4K back then. I'm sure cost and energy too. I mean, like you said, there's a lot more processing and energy. Plus, the rest of the world is putting energy constraints on 8K TVs other than the US. So I think they saw there was nowhere to go as far as larger 8K. I asked that when I first got here, And they're not closing the door on it. You may see an 8K version.
I wish they would.
You know, it would be easier to. I mean, because there isn't any 8K content, we thought it would show up.
I just think it's kind of like stuffing a V12 into a Miata.
Yeah, it's not
Now
necessary.
now you have to add I mean, you have to compensate for the extra power and weight. And TVs, I think, unless it's maybe an 8K projector, maybe, because
Yeah.
that 300 inches, but I think in the 115-inch range, 4K is fine. Now, Christian has a super chat. Thank you,
Hey,
my
Christian.
friend. The 98-inch Q900D was $40,000 last year. The 115-inch Q90F is $26,000.
That's right. There was a 98. There is a 98 inch.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And the unpopular opinion, at $30,000, this micro RGB is cheap for cutting-edge tech.
Christian, I like your thinking. See, Christian's being practical.
Yeah, you know what?
It is about context and comparison of what other things cost. And yes, I forgot that there was larger 8K TVs out there. It's just the content's never coming. And the gaming processing, we can't even get 4K without DLSS now.
Gaming real quick, 144 hertz, all four.
144 hertz.
All the
Yeah.
features of the other Samsung supported on this one as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Which I think we're at 160. Like we're at 165 for the
Yes.
other model, so we're at 144 for this one.
Yes.
I believe. So
Yep.
yeah, which is
And
plenty.
next year, who knows? Maybe we'll be at 180. So Garrett, his point has to be taken with a balanced view here. It's really not cutting edge tech because it's still an LCD in the end. So the LCD part, I think we've kind of reached the limit of the LCD layer.
Its definition of it. Yeah.
What they're doing is the cutting edge is individual micro LED and the RGB backlight. That's actually impressive and very difficult to do. So I get it, right? You're not cutting edge in the LCD. And well, same with OLED. I think QD OLED is cutting edge. The quantum dot color converting layers have replaced the color filter. However, you're still using a blue OLED.
And
so in the
that's-
end, is it cutting edge? You're still using blue
So
OLED.
I remember when QD OLED first came out, when the Samsung dropped it, we had that crazy live stream.
Yeah.
The first thing I saw in the comments was, it's old tech, it's only OLED. So unless we do a nuclear fusion hologram for you, it's all going to be based on an older technology. So I mean, unless we see something, and then if we do that, we might be back to 20-inch TVs. So
Well,
it's always going to be based on something from the past.
Speaking of 20-inch TVs, so Brandon has a good counterpoint to what I was saying about less pixel density, right? I bought a 65-inch to replace my 55-inch, and then I had to exchange it for another 55 because the pixel density wasn't high enough for how close I want to sit.
Oh, wow.
We need more pixels.
You
so,
must be really close, Brandon.
and that's the point. Is some of you like
Are
you
very
wanna sit
sensitive to it.
5
Yeah,
feet
yeah.
away from a 65-inch, and now you're close enough to see the pixels.
Yeah.
I get it.
And Brandon, I get that because we've had people, as the gaming features on these TVs have gotten very good, people have stepped away from monitors, to your point, and the pixel density on a 27-inch monitor is so clean. You don't have the contrast and the color. I think what you're saying, you noticed that it was softer. That means you're sensitive to that, and I get it. You must be very close, but I sit 6 feet from an 83-inch, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's what you're, and that's why we recommend FOMO. You're jumping from 55 to 65. We never recommend going from 55 to like 85 because it's definitely going to be too soft for you. So obviously going from a 65 to 100 is going to feel like you're looking at 720p.
Yep. And there we go. Now, let's talk about the next step up from OLED or from LCD TVs is micro LED TVs. And so to give you guys some context, a 100-inch micro LED TV from Samsung is around 100,000, 115,000, depending on the exchange
I think
rate.
it's 125.
125, something like that, right? So around the 98 to 100 inch size, it's around 100,000, maybe a little bit over. So I would definitely consider micro LED at smaller sizes. So Garrett, this is the issue with micro LEDs. It doesn't scale down very well.
Well, there's
It's
the-
cheaper to go larger than to go smaller because
Well, the pitch is
right,
impossible.
you
The
have to
pixel
get the
pitch is
micro LEDs
impossible.
even smaller.
But
and more of
so
them.
Garrett, if I put that question back to you, if they did do that and made it cutting edge, what would the price you would want it to be?
It'll end up being more expensive.
But if I
than
give you an
100 inch.
85-inch or a 55-inch micro LED and it's $30,000, then it's not going to work. So if Samsung did put the resources into that, what would that market be? You know, that's what you have to really ask yourself. You guys want the moon and the stars. You would tell me you want a 55-inch micro LED, and if I told you it was 10 grand, you'd lose your mind. So it's lose-lose for the manufacturer. right? I'm just saying you're coming at us with like what the cutting edge is. If we make that small, what are you gonna be comfortable paying?
Yep.
$600, $700? So we're trying to find that realistic. It is cutting edge for what it's approaching. You know, I mean, I'm glad it's here, but you know.
Well, what I
What's up,
think
Fran?
is
How are you?
when we go to Costco and they have an OLED TV on display next to a 100-inch Hisense.
Yeah,
or
the
TCL,
Hisenses and
right?
TCLs are there.
And the 65-inch OLED is like, I don't know, 1800, something like that. And the 100-inch is also around 18 or 1900. What shocks me is not the size difference, right? The price is the same, size is obviously a lot larger.
Yeah.
But the image quality on the same content, I know it's a Costco, I know it's a super bright place, I know it's all in dynamic mode, but I'm talking from the point of view of the consumer. I'm hard pressed myself as an enthusiast to go, wait, how come the OLED looks very similar to the Mini LED TV? Even the QM6K at around 2000. In this environment, the consumer, the average consumer will be unable to distinguish the image quality difference. They will walk out of that door and wonder what the big deal is with OLED.
Especially in those stores where there's no demo material, especially like in a Costco. But we would say back in the day of having beautiful pads and the light controlled, that's back when plasma would annihilate. But to your point, if we were to take a cheap micro LED or mini LED and compare it to, say, something like this or a QN90F, it would show up.
All right,
You would see it.
I'm gonna try the microphone one more time because I know the MacBook Pro microphone is not as loud as it should be, thank you, but let me see, check, check, check. See, it says that there's audio coming out
Out of these?
but
No, it's not. Oh,
yeah, see, it's coming up.
I think it's picking it up from here.
No,
Yeah,
no.
bro.
Did the audio go out if I go there? See, I'm very disappointed. No, yeah.
Don't you have a controller with the DJI controller that can connect it?
This is the DJI. Well, I could plug the
Oh, it's
DJI
on the
controller directly. You know what? Let me do that.
Yeah, try doing that. So
Yeah,
that
let me
might
do
work.
Right.
Give us a second, everybody. So like all of these things, I wish you guys could see it in person because it's very different. 100 CRT, Garrett, imagine how the thing would weigh. Nick, this thing's what, 200 pounds? About 200? Buck 80? I'm always
All right,
putting, Nick's like,
let's try
give me
this.
the real specs. You can round it up. How many kilos? How many stones? Because that might work better.
It just might. Okay, let's do this. Oops.
198? Not 200. Damn. Somebody left a screw out. Hey, Frank, wait. Oh, I forgot to put that thing in the back.
No. All right, let's see. All right, let's see, let's
It's
see.
saying they're both, it's picking, the controller's picking it up.
Let me try to put it. Let me see. See, this is what happens when you go in remote. All right. Unfortunately, yeah. I tried. We just have to speak louder, Brian. Oh, wait, here, let me try this. Is this better? Check, 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 check.
Check,
All right,
check, check,
is this
check.
better? I increased the gain on my MacBook. All right, that should be better. I apologize, guys.
All right, let's do an audio check. This is just doing the MacBook, right?
Yep, yep,
So see if that's better, guys.
yep. I increased the gain on the MacBook. I normally don't use the MacBook microphone because of the echo, but hey, Gotta do what we have to do.
Tony's saying it's loud. Tony,
All
I
right,
got Tony.
much better.
Thanks,
All
Tony.
right, thanks, guys. Okay, now let's
I started over. Ready? Take two.
Yep. All right,
Get back
so
in
here
front.
we are at Samsung. And thank you, everyone, for putting up with this. Okay, peak brightness. Do we have peak brightness numbers, Nick? So we have our personal Samsung consultant here to answer those questions. Now, please, these are gamers, right? Please, Samsung, LG, 240 hertz next year. So I think they are playing with these numbers.
Well, the 8K is 240. That's 4K.
Well,
240.
most likely the 240 is going to come out on the OLEDs, though. Because they already have it on the
Yeah,
monitors, right?
but it's on the Q190F is 8K. I think it's 4K 240.
Now we're too loud. Lisa's like, I got to control the
Oh,
volume.
Lisa always put the music always makes her crazy.
Well, you know, she was a rocker back in her day, right, Lisa?
No doubt.
Iron Maiden.
Love me some Iron
She
Maiden.
was there when Guns
No,
N'
no,
Roses.
the Beast. I was too.
Yeah.
Why you act like you're younger than us,
I
bro?
wish I was at Guns N' Roses when they came out. Now Guns N' Roses, like they're in wheelchairs. They're senior citizens.
I mean, you'll see that soon, hopefully, Garrett. I mean, they're at 165 now.
Okay, so here we go.
got brightness numbers?
Edward is in the market. Was it 5,000 nits?
Nix it.
It's bright, but maybe not nit
Nick's
bright.
like, nah, baby. I'm sorry.
What's up, guys? I just got hired at Video Only, a high-end TV retailer in Washington, Oregon.
I don't know about
in
all
Northern
these great
California.
stores, all right?
What do you need to know about the micro RGB? We will get this TV and sell the 115-inch TCL and the 97-inch G5. So other than it's $30,000, what you need to know is full color coverage BT 2020. More importantly, it's the next evolution of full array local dimming, right? You have full array local dimming with Mini LED. Now you have full array local dimming with RGB LED. They replaced the all-white backlight and now have replaced it with color backlight that matches your content, so you don't have to deal with white blooming halos that don't match the content. So ultimately, as this TV continues to evolve, this technology is the basis for the next level of flagship. It is an LCD TV still, but it's the most advanced LCD TV, similar to what Sony will be bringing out next year, the RGB LED, and similar to what Hisense has already brought out with the RGB Mini LED. So yeah, that's a good summary. Now, here's a good point. I've heard that it will be 5 to 10 years before content can take advantage of this panel. Is this true? So let's talk about, there are actually 3 things that I don't think any content will take advantage, not just this panel, but any panel. First, we got brightness. So you got the S95F, which is available this year, but you don't have content that takes advantage of its peak brightness closer to 2,000 nits. There is no content that has 2,000 nits specular highlights other than less than a handful of movies. So I think we're already there. Forget this TV.
Yeah.
Last year's TV and the year before, content has not caught up.
Display technology is always way ahead. It's been like that for years. We had HD before there was HD content. We had DVD. You know, we all caught up. So I mean,
yes,
you're right.
So all the TVs you buy this year, forget the micro RGB, put that aside. Any TV you buy this year that's over $1,500, content is not going to catch up over the next 5 years. Now, if you're talking BT 2020, I doubt content will ever catch up, mostly because when creators are creating content, they're not specifically creating bright / more color. They feel that the DCI-P3 covers everything they need, right? That's the current Hollywood for HDR. That's what they're using, really, even though BT
outside
2020,
of animation,
right?
maybe.
Because they know most TVs can't even cover that much of BT 2020. And even if they did, more importantly, Dubs, you're not going to see a difference. What you'll see is possibly new gradients of blue that you didn't see before, new gradients of purple, neon, right? But it doesn't improve the storytelling, so to speak, as much as HDR, where you have that bright specular highlights and explosions, where it's impactful, right? An additional 20% of BT 2020 is not impactful, but size is. So, yeah.
Well, but I think that's the manufacturer's hope, is to provide the tools to then provide the filmmakers to use it to make their content more impactful. So I mean, so yeah, it's always been the case of, hey, why is this? That was when HDR came out, 4K came out,
Yeah.
HD came out. We were always a little bit behind with. Remember, we had no players. We didn't have
Nope.
HDVD and Blu-ray were battling it out. TVs were already out way before that. So it's always going to be that before,
Yeah.
not after. It's impossible for it to be after.
And SB Digital is saying, so this is, or asking, is this different than real micro LED? Correct. That's why they call it micro RGB. There was some confusion at CES when it was called RGB micro LED, so they went back and said, you know what, that is a little bit misleading, right? Misunderstanding of the technology.
Marketing is like, damn.
I know. Oh, marketing got too excited.
And Frank's like, wow, what do you mean?
Well, micro LED.
I typed that in wrong.
So, we've seen that before. So micro RGB is the next iteration of mini LED. So where we are with Neo QLED, I believe this is going to be the new level of technology. So, you have that trickle down. So maybe in 3 or 4 years, Neo QLED will be the entry level technology. And then you have this, as the flagship, and we're going to see this. Now we have Hisense introducing this already. Samsung is out with it. Next up is going to be TCL and Sony.
Yeah, Sony.
And then eventually it'll trickle down to Vizio and Sansui.
Well, what's fascinating too, FOMO, is
LG hasn't announced it yet.
Yeah. Into a RGB. Well, they already no. I mean,
okay. Actually, I guarantee they will announce it at CES 2026.
Announce what? QNED.
Micro QNED. Brian is not excited.
I'm like, LG, let me know. But I think what's great, FOMO, is we think about how when Mini LED first came out,
right?
All of a sudden, we were like, well, how long is it going to take? And all of a sudden, everyone had Mini LED. So I think this will be very much the same. Because if you remember, Mini LED all of a sudden was like, oh, is it just on a top flagship? That's what's great about the trickle down.
Right, and now it's at Costco at 100
yeah,
inches.
I mean, get some ribeye and sweatpants and grab a Mini LED on the way out.
Yeah.
But that's the best part about bringing this out right now versus holding it back. That's what's so exciting about being here, is not just the price. It's about cutting edge and it being tangible and real.
Yeah.
So you think about CES wasn't 2 years ago. We're not even at the next one and this TV's out. That is awesome. I mean, so that's what, get excited about that. That's what it's all about. Is we can say it's too expensive and it's not going to fit in my room. I mean, stop the Eeyore. I mean, be amped, be excited.
Well, I'm excited because I see this trickling down to our friends.
Absolutely, very quickly. And that's the best part about Samsung not holding it back, is getting it out. So then that sets us up for what they'll show. See, Samsung always steals the show at CES. They're not going to just show this again.
Nope.
Chances are they'll have something maybe even smaller or more refined. So I'm excited that it's here before the year closes out. They could easily drop this at CES next year and call it a day.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that. That shows me they have something built up for Nick. Just kidding.
Well, remember, everything we say is our opinion
Nick's
only.
like, why am I in the room?
I'm going to get in trouble because I didn't stop them from talking.
Because they're going to have that one clip of 8,000 minutes. Okay. No, that wasn't me. I told them no.
Ahmad Z has a great point. BT 2020 is just like high-res audio. It absolutely is. Because you know what? The ceiling is there, but whether real content you could hear it or not, that's a whole other matter.
Placebo is legit, but it's good to know you got it. That's all technology's about.
And here's some great context, by the way. So
Classy.
So Classy is saying that it's extremely rare beyond P3, right? BT 2020, 100% BT 2020. Neon signs, laser effects, that's where they'll mostly be used, which takes me to this really important comment that someone had. I just missed it earlier, which is this, gaming. And that kind of segues to what Classy is saying is gaming does use bright neon signs. We're talking about like cyberpunk type games, right? Where they're pushing, or maybe GTA.
Well, and
pushing the colors and the brightness.
Well, often they are, but the problem is, like filmmakers, what do they do with that? Same with broken HDR. Every other game we have has lifted blacks because they can't get HDR right. So you're right. Hopefully they're the ones that push it forward. They just have to use those tools, and hopefully they'll say, hey, this new game will use that color space.
Well, here's something that's Samsung related. I want to make this comment because we talked about this offline. Thank you, Christian, for the super chat. FOMO, please do a video on Tech Radar's consumer OLED shootout.
We talked about that today.
The results were fascinating, and what BOE potentially being banned in the US means for us. So BOE being banned for violating Samsung OLED patents and stuff. Now, whether or not that affects TVs, unlikely. It's already affected BOE in that Samsung did not want to buy BOE panels. That's why you guys lost ADS Pro for a few years since this whole controversy happened between Samsung Display and BOE. But that relates to RGB OLED as it's produced and provided to Apple and other small RGB OLED manufacturers and suppliers, right? That's them. Now, TVs, since BOE does not supply OLED to TVs, not a big deal, but it's already affected you guys because the minute this happened, the following year, Samsung stopped giving you guys ADS Pro. The QN98, the QN90B, QN90C, QN85, they used to be ADS Pro, and we
Yes.
loved it.
Well, actually, we didn't even know we loved it until it was gone.
Until it was
you
gone.
don't know what you got till it's gone.
But back to the OLED shootout, I think the results had, you were telling me Samsung.
Somebody told me on my channel with the G5 was that they had the G5 and the Samsung at first, and then Sony. So we'll have to look at the numbers. I mean, being in last place when there's only 3 products, coming in third is not great, or not terrible, but we'll see. I mean, that was wasn't an enthusiast shootout.
I will do a video on that.
We'll check it
sure.
out. Yeah,
for sure.
And we know them over there, so we'll definitely check it out.
And just to get, so you guys know, right? Many of you discounted the Samsung S95F completely because of the anti-glare.
Yeah.
They couldn't win if you wanted to, but I keep on telling you,
They
in a dark room, it's irrelevant. It's amazing.
Yeah. And they were literally, what were they, like a quarter of a point versus half a point? I mean.
Yeah, no, I think the S95F is the common watch. There will be more shootouts this year, right? More comparisons from other creators, right? I'm looking forward to seeing what Vincent's judges think.
Yep.
I predict that in Vincent's shootout, the
G4
S95F,
G4 won
well,
last
I
year.
think the
S95F,
S95F and the Panasonic are going to tie for first. That's
and to be honest,
my
other than
prediction.
enthusiasts, and seeing the way Samsung is committed to the anti-glare, whether we like it or not as enthusiasts, they're selling them. And that means the common person who opens their wallets versus us complaining about it, they wouldn't double down on it.
Now that Nick is part of the show, they're actually calling out Nick.
Oh,
so
that's you,
X-Docula
babe?
is saying, Nick.
That's you?
Nick.
Oh my God, we see him all the time.
Is Dolby
Oh man, it's
coming to
identity.
Samsung TVs?
What's the question?
Is Dolby Vision coming to Samsung TVs? Okay, no, I got the eye roll. Really? So let's
I
leave
can't
it
believe
at
that's
that.
you. I was telling you how much I loved you. I had no idea. All the secret identities come out in these things.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so
So when you wonder if the manufacturers are watching, they are.
nanorod blue LEDs with QD color conversion might still be worth it in the interim until blue QDs are available. So this was the old technology that was shelved, where instead of using blue OLED, they used inorganic micro LED type technology called nanorod blue micro LEDs, and using the same quantum dot color converting layer. I don't think it's going to happen, mostly because
Size.
there is so much.
It's not going to matter. You can,
Well, the self-emissive quantum dots are so close.
but it doesn't.
And size, it's like.
And guys, I'll
they
tell
don't want to
you-
spend more money. They're already there.
I'll tell you, it's dead. We're sitting here in front of a 115 inch. They're not. No one's going to spend money on something that's going to be back to 65 inches, and no one's going to pay for it. So you can do blue jet and nano rod OLEDs all you want. If they're 65 inches, no one's going to care.
well, let's talk about a 65-inch.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, we're talking about 83-inch OLEDs. People are like, nah, it's too small.
No, but Brian, let's talk about
What's
the
up, Robert?
65-inch TV that people do care about. Robert Conrad has a G5.
Robert has had an emotional.
Look, Artings just confirmed the recent firmware update reduction in brightness with dynamic tone mapping in HDR.
Yeah, so Robert is going to need therapy.
I knew I wasn't crazy.
You're going to need
And
therapy.
you know what,
I
Robert?
understand. Because look, I'll
That's-
tell you
that's
this.
painful.
Robert, that TV is way too bright. I know you like watching in Vivid. The G5 was overly bright. It was stupidly bright. It doesn't serve any purpose in content. And half the time I'm watching it, it doesn't need to be that bright. I understand you're frustrated with them lowering the brightness. I'm not sure what ratings measured it at. But I'll just tell you this. LG has my video. I spoke to them today. They're going to look at it and they'll use it. So if you want to go back on that video, put as many comments as you want, Robert, and I'll pin it. They'll figure it out. But I think it's a shame that the TVs change. That's just the nature of what we're in. The TV was too bright anyway. So, but I'm sorry that, you're seeing it. I don't know what ratings were measured it at.
And well, you know what? Let's talk about it. Just to a larger context in terms of the industry. TV manufacturers, sometimes they do things they don't realize what the effect is on the consumer.
Yeah.
And so
HEIG with Samsung.
Samsung HEIG. But what happened was when we reached out to Samsung and explained to them, hey, the consumers did not expect this. They expect HEIG to perform in this way. You took out the label, so now they don't know that there's HEIG. And then you explained it, but then it turns out you actually turned off HEIG. And so when our team, and when I say our team, it'd be between myself, Brian, KJ, and Classy, each of us coming in different directions saying, look, this is what HEIG means. They're like, oh, when that many creators tell us, we're going to go back to the drawing board.
Well, and that's when
they're fixing it.
And that's when they say the word influencer. I think what's really most important is not us influencing you, it's us all influencing the manufacturer. And when the manufacturers talk to us, they don't say, what do you think? They ask, what does your community think? That's the most important. So if something is super important, as far as what the brightness is reduced, Robert, is it 50 nits? Is it 100 nits? Is it, in the grand scheme, you have to have some context on what they dropped it to.
Yeah.
The TV's still too bright. They're all too bright, actually. So, it doesn't...
the content doesn't meet
And the content doesn't meet it, but the fact is, Robert, I know you like that wow, but the fact is, a lot of times it washes everything out. So, I'll find out why it was dropped, but a good place to start is us doing videos like we did, where you're not toxic, you're not tearing the manufacturer down. Having a pleasant conversation does meet change. So, keep commenting on that video, and I'll see what LG says.
And Brandon says, FOMO, can you ask Samsung about the color bug on their QD OLEDs that reduce coverage of BT 2020 color space? Let me guarantee you, Brandon, that Classy has personally explained the issue to Samsung, and they know. And Classy wasn't the first, but he's been the most persistent, and they know. They know the technical details. Now, whether and when they address that is another matter, but yes, they do know about this, so no worries. It's not a matter of whether they know now, it's how they're going to address it in a future update or future TV.
Yeah.
But this is why we have these chats and these live streams. There's only so many comments, Brian, I can go through, because sometimes you might have a nugget. That's an amazing question that I miss, because I'm lucky to get maybe 20 of your questions on my comment section. But here, when you guys show up and you ask,
live,
boom.
But we talk about this with whether it's the Samsung HEIG issue or any of these issues. The common sense of how you deliver your question to anyone. When we talk to we know manufacturers, we know them all now. We know the engineers at a lot of them. Unless you can give proper context on what you're seeing it on, there's no way they can solve it. But if you scream, this is garbage, I promise you, it's not going to have an impact.
Okay, cool. They don't know what it means.
So even if we make videos where we trash it, which is not my style, it's not his style, it's not no one's going to change anything. So if you come at it and say, hey guys, like we did with the HEIG, that is where people, it's like yelling on a sports show. That's fine for that content. It's not going to work in technology. No one cares if you yell. So being civilized in your comments, you'll get a response from us. Being crazy and screaming and yelling at this is garbage, I don't even hear it. Because I know the TVs, none of them are bad.
It's constructive criticism. Our job is to help them identify.
But also context. Saying me that the TV's not as bright, tell me what content and how many nits.
And what the settings.
And what the settings are.
And this kind of segues to one-eyed comment. Why is it that us consumers have to chase these brands? It took forever to inform them about HEIG. They have these TVs, they need to test it themselves. So one-eyed, this is something that I want to throw out there is, within these TVs have so many features now. Now, back in the 80s and before, literally over-the-air cable box, there is no
Does
setting.
the image turn on?
Right. Does it turn on?
UH in the bottom? Yeah, exactly.
And then you had color saturation if you're lucky, and a tuner to tune the TV if you're lucky. That's it. Now, how far have we come? Looking at the different TV brands, and I see it in TCL and Hisense, I get toggles where nothing works. I'm like, okay.
It does not. Yeah, it's just there.
It does nothing.
Yeah, it's like
why is it even here?
It's like fake.
It's a fake toggle.
It's the ignition switch. It's like the noise on an electric car.
It's like kids' toys that does nothing,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Just you
yeah.
flip the switch, they don't even know what it does.
And when I connect, I get what you're saying, but here's what I'll tell you why the attitude won't win. They don't have to change anything because these are 1-year cycles. So we draw attention to it to try to fix the TV that you have, but they're already on to the next year. So the manufacturers aren't going to placate and pay attention to whining or whatever it is. They're going to just move on. Most people just buy it without being, we're all enthusiasts here.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is make sure that they continue to support these TVs and let them, that's why we're important to this, because we can translate your message. You know, I mean, so that's the key, but it has to be, by saying screw it, it's their job, again, that attitude is not going to have anything change.
Yep.
And the engineers, when you speak to them, what do they say? What content, what film, where are you seeing it, what's your source, what HDMI is it? It'll make your head spin. So to say to them, like with gaming, oh, just do an update. It doesn't work like that with software.
You have to give them the exact game, the scene. Is VR on? Is VR off?
Yeah, and then there's what are the
Yeah.
resources? Thousands of people are involved in building these TVs. So even when we go into the shootout, when you see them looking at these graphs, I'm sure the person's like, I didn't build this TV to do this one particular graph.
Or actually, they
or
do.
Chart. They do.
They do.
Then you're studying for the test instead of having the
Yes.
knowledge.
Now,
So I understand what you're saying, but the attitude of it's their job will get you nowhere.
So it's the classic, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So their job is to make a TV that some of the features work for most people because they only know that that feature works that way.
Yeah.
But then there are some features that between us reviewers who dive so deep into content that they didn't even test with, they're like, oh, really? Like LG is still trying to fix near black shadow issues that Panasonic has done a better job doing. And why is that? Well, Panasonic's focused on these things, right?
Well, and their
they
TV,
know
but their
what's
TV
wrong.
also came out how many months later?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to say is helping point them in the right direction, and chances are they'll get it solved.
Yeah.
But you know, again, the enthusiasts, everyone is so much more knowledgeable than they were 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So at a certain point, they're going to throw their hands up and say, look, man, there's only a small percentage of people that care about this.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, it's how we deliver it.
And thanks, Robert, for the super chat. As always,
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you for all you guys do. I love learning more from you guys. Much appreciated.
And Robert, I'll say to you, because I know you're struggling with your G5, I've been through
that
it.
video was for you.
And Robert, that video was for you, but I'll tell you this, and this is how the channel started, was finding flaws. At a certain point, you have to just enjoy the TV for what it is. You have an elite TV, one of the best in the world. But it's almost like having a girlfriend where the past is bothering you. Like you can't even stop looking at it. You're looking at it different now. Try to erase that palette and just enjoy what you have, or you will not be happy with it. So stop looking for the flaws at this point. LG has the video. They're gonna break it down and try to fix it. But Robert, honestly, don't lose any sleep over it, man. It's a beautiful TV. And they all have issues. Every single one of them is gonna have some problem.
And I kept it in my studio because I
The
still
girlfriend
feel-
analogy wasn't great, but I'm projecting. What do you mean she was stripping? It was just for her education. She's a student. She's a good girl.
The G5 is my HDR benchmark for HDR
Yeah,
impact.
they're awesome, man.
Right?
I mean, look,
I love that TV.
I mean, there's
think it's great.
14 TVs at the studio right now, and I love when I hear this one smashes this one. Yeah, you're insane. They're all
They're all
phenomenal.
great. Hey, Ramesh Shootout, thank you for your super chat.
love that you
Sup,
try to pronounce this.
Brian FOMO. Both is the Samsung Micro LED, then Hisense RGB Mini LED, or the Sony RGB Mini LED. See. All right. So this is not the Samsung Micro LED. It's the Micro RGB, which is similar to the Hisense RGB Mini LED and similar to the Sony RGB LED.
Yeah.
And they're all LCD TV or LCD-based panel TVs. Now the question is, which one is better? I'm assuming you're asking, and we won't know until we have all three of them side by side for our content testing. And as long as they're limited to 100 inches, I don't think I can fit 3 100-inch. You might.
You don't need walls, bro.
Yeah, you
Just
put
take
it
out the wall.
outside,
Have the
right?
contractor just put it up as a wall. It'd be
But
all
we
right.
will have that comparison. Once they drop to 75 inches, trust me, we'll have it up for you guys. But I'm really excited to see these TVs out in 75-inch sizes.
It's incredible. How far away do you think we are right now?
A year.
No, I mean from the TV in front of us.
Oh.
What do you think, Nick?
This is, so I know that's 11 feet, so 18 feet.
So it's funny though, I will say the 115
19.
inch finally gives you the size where even this far away, it does look like
it's
a
too
big,
small.
It looks like a big TV from this far away.
I can't see.
It's like a 75 inch from this
Okay.
far away, but
This is a typical large kitchen that Samsung set up here, right?
typical,
Right.
massive.
So we're in this.
How
well,
big is your kitchen, bro? You got a washer, dryer? all
Typical
kinds
for
of stuff.
hedge funders, right? They might be a little disappointed.
That's not us.
And so we're about, I'd say, safely 20 feet from that TV, and
It looks like it's about 75 inches.
I
from
would
it.
sit closer. I would
Oh, no,
not.
hell no.
I would
The whole idea is to get to where I'd be about 8 feet away.
Yeah,
But then again, I mean, I'd be tan as hell sitting in front of that thing.
that you would be.
So I need glasses now.
Thank you, Robert, for another super chat, my friend, hanging out with us. In their Cityscape test, it was almost 500 nit drop.
Okay.
Well, that's huge. You know, I love my TVs, or my TV still, the G5. I've never said this TV was garbage. I think it looks amazing, 90%. I try not to bash. Thanks, guys. So, Robert, not to say you're bashing, it's,
Oh, no, I'm not
we're
saying you are.
generalizing. Don't be too disappointed, because remember, as no TV is perfect, those one or few flaws you will find in every TV. For example, last year's Panasonic, one of my favorite TVs, it wasn't perfect either. The laggy Amazon Fire was a little bit frustrating for me, but you know what? That in return for that, and this year it comes back, like, oh, the Fire TV is back with such a good image, right? So this is everyone struggling with the not perfect TV, but you chose one that fits what you love about the G5. So I think at the end, net, you won for sure.
Well,
Hey,
well,
Leo.
Robert is like, now I know you have 500 nits in your dreams. And now, but like, unless you're watching that Cityscape demo over and over and over again, how's it going to be in regular content that you watch all the time?
Well, it's
I
kind of
mean-
like that whole, when you lose something, conceptually, it just bothers you that you
hell yeah,
had it
dude.
and you lost it,
I hear
right?
you. I hear you,
Oh,
man.
it's back to your girlfriend analogy.
What-
You can't see it, but your friends are telling you she's having an affair.
It's even worse than my
Did you see
stripper
it?
analogy.
Did you see it? No. Well, she's having an affair.
I was there.
And then you ask her, did you do it? No, I didn't
It
do
was
it.
with me. I mean, I proved it.
So, it's like that. It's
Man, my point is,
conceptual.
Robert, I know it bothers you. Trust me, the TV, I turn the G5 on every day, and the brightness is too much. It's brighter than the mini LEDs that are in the room, even updated. So I know you're chasing that 500 nits.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I know it's bothering you.
And I
up,
love
Leo?
I love Leo's comment. Hey, Bromo, having seen both in person, how does the Samsung RGB compare to the Hisense RGB in overall picture
It's a very
quality?
tough question because, well, I'll tell you, the Samsung looks more impressive, but it's the design.
And well, it's also the content.
And it's the content.
They chose
They
content
told the content
specific.
where I was able to, with the Hisense, when you're going through the menus and you have your own content, you do see some of the ugliness in the menus that when you go into your Google menu or the Fire Stick menu, the consoles. So I would say this one looks better, but she's all dressed up.
Yep.
And she's beautiful, but she's all dressed. Makeup's on.
It's really, yeah.
She's a
And
girlfriend analogy for everything.
to
now.
be fair to both brands, I would need to have them side by side.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they both look amazing, I'll say that.
Yeah, they're incredible.
But well, how about this? This is the next generation of mini LED. So for sure, your flagship TVs, and I know, Leo, you buy a new one every few years, it'll be unavoidable. If you buy the best from Samsung or Hisense or Sony, 3 years from now, it most likely will be, if they're 85 inches or larger, a variation of micro RGB or RGB Mini LED.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. They're gonna. What I like too, though, is that this is not like where the prototypes from a couple of years ago were very incomplete. This one already has 144 hertz gaming. It's already fully functional. There's nothing that's waiting for. It has all the processes and all the different features the other TVs, the AK TVs have. So it's fully ready to rock. So that's important and impressive. I can't wait to see what they do at CES. But I will say design-wise, Samsung is still the best in the business on how sleek their design is for such a large TV.
Yep. And what Christian's asking, thank you for the super chat. So the 116-inch Hisense RGB or 116 UX live stream was last month, was in July, before my vacation. So just check my live stream. It'll say Hisense Mini LED RGB. So I did that live stream at Hisense, and the audio on that TV was pretty amazing. I think they did a great job with the audio.
But
on that
theirs
TV.
is, they don't mind having a more thick chassis.
Yeah, because their
And,
audio, they're
yeah,
so focused
they're
on
focused
the audio.
on that.
Yep.
So, but although the audio here is 70 watts, so I mean they have their high end. You can't really see it in the video, but it's their highest end sound bar. But they're saying that the audio is, and we did hear it earlier, it does sound great.
Yep, I will double that. Now, thank you everyone for showing up. Before we leave, last minute questions, and I want to give a shout out to Ruipro, who is my optical cable of choice. Thank you for sponsoring this video, Ruipro. It's not Samsung, it's actually Ruipro. It's the optical cables I use for all my reviews.
I use them too.
I've been using them since I started my channel back in 2019. Why optical cables? When you run longer than 10 feet, copper cables become way too thick, way too heavy, they overheat. Optical is the way to go. So if you're looking for optical cables, Ruipro, they're on Amazon.com. I'll put it in the link below. Now,
They're excellent.
questions before we head off. I think we've been on, oh my gosh, an hour.
Yeah, we're
Can you
about
believe
done.
it's been an hour?
I mean, I'll say before the questions even start, it's having an open mind and being excited about technology versus shooting it down immediately. You know, I know that we've got that attitude lately to where we want things to be cheap, we want it to be 240 hertz, we want it to be all these things. For once, guys, just be excited that you're seeing something so amazing and that we're here to cover it.
well, ignore the price. And this is why I say ignore the price.
I mean, like I said, if
it's
you're,
not going to be $30,000 forever.
yeah, but if you're into watches, you're into anything high end. I don't know where TVs all of a sudden became this bargain technology where it's got more in it than it ever has versus projecting an image. And now our expectations of price kind of really, it curbs the excitement for you guys. Not for me. I was amped to come here.
Oh,
I don't even have to be here. I already shot this TV, but I'm so excited to see it and show it to you guys. Be excited a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, be excited what the future is going to bring. These TVs are going to be affordable at some point. They're going to be massive. I mean, this helps, and it forces the other manufacturers to also change. Namely Sony. They're going to have to now move their whatever they were planning on releasing has to change now.
Now,
So that's great.
I love this comment because it takes me back to last month.
Hell no, I'm not doing 15.
We need another 15-hour stream like Valerie.
I'm sweating like a hostage. Oh my
I
God.
think he
And they
enjoyed
feed
it.
us here.
I think it was a bit of Schadenfreude. He was enjoying you just dying of
Oh
hunger.
my God, like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
I was like-
What shenanigans? I'm dying back here.
No AC. It was crazy.
How do you think the projector market will change now that TVs have caught up? And this is a great question. I think it's
Actually very healthy
so you have two types of projectors, right?
lifestyle. Yeah.
The lifestyle projectors, I don't know, because for $2,000 you get a 100-inch TV. I would rather spend $2,000 on that than a $2,000 projector. And I know even today, $2,000 projector will get you to 150 inches, but
The real
I hate screens.
Yeah.
I hate setting it up. I hate the ambient
the,
light
The real
issue.
question is, where does the short throw projector market go? Because TVs have taken that market, but the lifestyle projectors are so affordable. The image is amazing, and they go 300 inches. So there's a place for both. They're brighter than ever, the gaming features. So I think, to your point, it's the short throw. Hi, Jen. The short throw market that is getting squeezed. But there's now room for both. 115 is huge, but if you're a projector person, you want 200. And I'll tell you, the difference between a 115 and a 100-inch is absurd how small it looks. So if you were to take a 200-inch image, it would be that. So I think there's room for both.
I think the 200 image pretty much fills up what you're seeing, the little side, right and left side of this.
I mean, Jen, I'd say
It
that the
makes it
black
significant.
levels, without being self-emissive, it's impossible to be the same.
Yeah, and Jennifer, so the great question. Are
Even
the
micro
black-
LEDs, black levels aren't as good as OLED.
Are the black levels in contrast same level as OLED? So black levels, you can always make it pure black. The question is where the black meets content. And the content's bright, will there be blooming? I think we're very close there right now. Look at the Bravia 9, right? Very close. But the contrast will never, ever match self-emissive. It's just, that's why we always look for new technologies in LCD to get that contrast closer. Now the question is, in a brighter room, how does that look? And you called me the other day, you're like, I have the G5 at, what was it, 83 inches, right? And then you had an 85-inch TV, and you're like, that G5 is just a monster. Like,
Yeah, when you see, but again, OLED is got a cap on it. I mean, at 83,
yeah, in
well, it's
size,
just a
yeah.
cap. It just can't. And QD OLEDs are still maxing out. They're never going to be larger than they are, especially since you're seeing how these are going to hit. I mean, OLEDs are, and if you see the OLEDs from LG that are 97, they're not, they don't have RGB tandem. They're not MLA. So there's nowhere to go, and they're too expensive. So these things are, I mean, to see a 115-inch is unbelievable. And to see it be not just a 115, for them to put out a 115-inch Neo QLED in one room and have an RGB Mini LED, micro LED in another room, that's pretty incredible that we're here already.
Yeah.
And the fact that this 115 is pretty light at 198 pounds for 215 inches. I mean, we had CRT TVs were that heavy at 32 inches.
Oh, yeah.
No handle on that one either.
Okay, so I think it's good to wrap this up. People are going to come in this kitchen and start eating and cooking in the next few minutes. So a big thank you to Samsung for inviting
Shout out
us
to
and letting
Nick
us shoot.
and the crew.
And a big thank you to you all for showing up. And we will have more of micro RGB TVs in our studios at some point when it's smaller than 115 inch, so we can do some comparisons. But this is the future, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you, buddy.
Guys, thanks for spending some
joining me.
time with us. I mean, it's been great. And again, think about what we're going to see at CES. I love that they didn't wait and they're dropping these TVs now. I mean, that really is going to put the pressure on everybody else, and that really helps all of us. So love you guys. Thank you guys for being here.
And we got one more super chat.
Oh,
Max
Chester
Overdrive.
again.
You snuck it
What's up,
in.
Max?
We'll answer your question before you head out. Thank you, Max, for that super chat. Nice, but I still prefer an 85-inch OLED for the contrast and pop that brings.
That's great,
To
Nick.
Brian's point.
That's great, Max, but there's no such thing as an 85-inch OLED, my friend.
2 inches, 83 is close enough.
So, I mean, but 83, I totally, and Max, that's why I'm still at 83. But again,
G6,
it's,
Max,
you know,
hold on
you're
for the
looking at
G6.
$6,000 OLEDs when people are buying 100-inch. I hear you, Max, believe me. That's definitely how I feel. So I'm still with OLED, but it's hard to deny that, to your point, once we hit 100 and the content or the quality is pretty good, the immersion cannot meet it.
Yeah.
I mean, the immersion of these TVs at this size, the Q190F in the other room blew my mind.
Oh, I know.
So I mean, like, as much as I love my OLEDs, it can't get any bigger.
And the Q90F.
No matter what I feed it, it's stuck at 83.
No, at 115 inches, I saw the Q90F, and it's $27,000, only $3,000 less. So I encourage everyone to save up the extra $3,000 and get this TV instead. But regardless, at that size, you're not even looking at contrast anymore. It's such a immersive experience.
And the contrast is amazing. I mean, awesome. What's up, Caleb?
Caleb wants to let everyone know he's disturbed. The disturbance is me. I'm the disturbance. And KG joined us just
at
in
the
time
very end to say goodbye.
to say goodbye. So we're going to log off.
All right, guys.
Until
Take care.
next time, my friends, stop the FOMO.